Welcome back to my channel and to the second part of the video, which I posted just yesterday, in which I'm gonna show you what I've done with the leftover paint from previous project, so stay tuned. And for those who don't know me, it's Asia Marquet here, Lemon Creation, and I do a lot of craft or art on paper, especially art journaling, but also ATCs, and today I'm doing ATCs. Yesterday project was art journaling, and this tiny part of the project you've seen already in yesterday's video, but I am gonna show you very quickly. I sped up a little bit the process. So this is the paint I had like left over. And I decided, instead of just cleaning it, I decided to use a piece of paper and just make a transfer from the palette straight to the piece of paper. This is mixed media paper, but it's a kind of poor quality paper, but it hasn't been treated with any gesso or any other primer, so it's just normal paper. And I usually don't treat papers like that, especially when I do this type of transfer, because I don't add too much water, so I am not really worried that the page will warp. And now I'm using golden acrylics. This is Nico Azu Gold. For the full list of products, please check the box below this video. You're gonna get all the products, also links. I work with affiliate links, so you're gonna get them underneath the video, and you can use them to make a purchase also at no cost to you. Just FYI. And I wanted to add a little bit of gold because I didn't want those two projects from yesterday and today to be the same, even though in yesterday's project I add a little bit of gold, but that was a gold leaf adhesive. This time I wanted to use the acrylic, and it's been a long time since I haven't used the golden one, so I just decided that today is the day. And I'm spraying a little bit of water on the infusions, on the two infusions which I use, because it gives me a tiny bit of nice texture, like tiny microscopic almost dots. Look at that, guys, it looks so beautiful. And well, this is the part which I should have actually avoided. It was completely unnecessary, didn't really bring anything to the project. I love using Lindy's Gang Sidewalk Chalk because it's a chalky spray, and very often it gives this dreamy feel to the papers, but to the creations. But in this case it really didn't bring too much of chalkiness, and that's the project when it's dry already. And I'm thinking that maybe actually it will decolor the spray, so it was really unnecessary. I'm adding some stamping. I'm also using stamps which I used in yesterday's project. They are all stamps from PaperArtsy. Once again, you're gonna get the full list of them in the description box below. And I'm using Brilliance Moonlight White ink, one of the really best white inks. So if you are looking for a permanent white ink, this is the one to go. And I'm adding a tiny bit of stamping with Onyx Black. And I'm gonna be cutting the paper into ATC size, a little bit smaller even than ATC size, because I'm gonna place the paper on the black background. And I'm doing it, you know, without looking at the actual colors. So like that, I have a small surprise, and I got these like kind of scraps left. But they actually make a size of ATC, so I decided to use them and have one ATC more. And this is also a great idea. If you have scraps like that, you can quite often use them and make some cards. This is one of few projects I actually use with the scraps, and which I actually made with the scraps. And this is the tissue paper, which you can buy from PaperArtsy. And I think also they are wrapping, at least they did, they are wrapping your orders in the tissue paper like that. So I have few of them. They are, I think they have two. Last time I checked, they had two of them, two different, how do you call it, two different designs. but they are quite big. They are, I think, 4 times A4 size, so they are really huge. They are really nice. Because I work for them, I didn't actually buy them. I got my, you know, my orders wrapped in them. But as far as I know, you can also check and you can get them and buy them, and they are super nice to add to your projects. Normally I would use matte gel to add them to the projects, but I was kind of lazy because that was the second project I was doing already last night and I was tired, and so you know, I decided to just use the simple glue, like a school glue, and it worked fine. Later I added still matte gel, you're gonna see, but for a different reason. And so I place these pieces of tissue paper randomly on the cards to kind of add a little bit more interest, make them a little bit different than the projects from yesterday. And so here I have my 5 ATC cards, and I'm adding a little bit of border. Of course the border is distressed, it's kind of grungy like the cards. And I'm using Unipin fine liner to do that. It works really well, but sometimes when you have like, you know, like layers, like in this case a little bit of tissue paper, you know, it can just act up on you, but in general it really does work very nice, and it's also a permanent pen. And now that's the part I was telling you about. My cards, or rather my black base, is exactly the size of ATC, which is 6.4 centimeters by 9.8 or 8.9. I'm not totally sure, I forgot it, but I made the markings on my cutting machine, and so like that I always know. But that's why also I cut the colored paper or the colored background into a smaller sizes, so like that, you know, I have this frame. And here are my new digi hearts. But before I put them, I decided to actually cover the whole paper, or mostly the parts when I put the tissue paper, with the matte gel, because I've noticed that some parts were actually lacking the glue, and I just wanted it to stay in place over time. And I also thought that there is not enough white, and I am using my stencil dotted with cream paste from Stamperia, and I love this paste, even though I find the last box I bought, it's a little bit liquidy in comparison with the first one I had. Maybe this is just a bad batch, or maybe it's just they changed something. But it's still a very good paste, and even though Infusions I use on the background, they are water soluble, I can add this paste and I know that it will stay basically still white. It may take a tiny bit of color, but in general it will stay white, which is not the case of other pastes. They usually tend to take the color of the background if the background is used or made with the water soluble paints. So this is something to also keep in mind for you guys. If you want a paste which is really nice and which will give you a kind of nice bright color at the end, you can try to use this one. I didn't add too much of the stenciling because I just wanted to add a small accents, small white accents. And while this is drying, this is my notebook in which I am putting swatches of the colors which look really nice together. And I had this last piece of the paper I was using, so I'm gonna put it in the notebook, and like that I know, you know, that these colors make this combination, and I can use it at some point if I fancy. So for this project, as for the previous one, I am using as a focal points my hand-drawn hearts. They are accessible in my online boutique, and they are digital files, so you know there is an instant download if you purchase them. And as I mentioned, they were hand-drawn by me with my fine line markers, and then I worked on them in the Photoshop, and right now you can buy the like, if you print them out, you're gonna get 2 A4 pages of hearts. but you can also, you know, mix and match them. If you know how to use a Photoshop, you can cut them out, you can make a bigger or smaller hearts, and they are also accessible in SVG file and some other files. I am not really good at them, but I know that you could use them in your Silhouette or Cricut machine and just make some transfer and stuff like that. So as all of my digital files, or most of them, like the ones with stars and Christmas trees, that's all the things you can do. And as you can see, they are different ones. They are funky ones. There is a lot of crunchy ones. So, you know, I was trying to make to follow all the tastes and just make pleasure to all of you. And I am placing them in two different ways, either with a 3D foam tape or just with a glue, depending on where I want to place them on the card, because, you know, they are these raised parts of the card with the stenciling. So if, you know, I'm doing it over the raised part, I am doing it with the 3D foam tape, and otherwise I'm doing it with the glue. And the last part to finish this ATCs, it's of course adding my super messy words. And I cut a few of them. I didn't use all of them because I was not sure what I'm gonna add at the end. They are not very, like, you know, romantic words, but I didn't want to make it completely romantic and just wanted to leave it like that. Guys, this is it. So 2 paints, 2 different projects. I didn't plan this one, but I said why not, so, you know, just go ahead and just do it. And the cards are done. I hope you like them, and there is a small plus maybe for you, I hope. I'm gonna be adding them to my orders, so the next 4 orders, because I always keep 1 card for myself. The cards are gonna be there, but anyway, I quite often add the cards to the orders or small gifts. So I hope you're gonna make a purchase. Thank you so much for watching. Thank you so much for subscribing, and I'm gonna see you in the next video. I wish you a beautiful day, and bye bye.